For both of you guys, I guess just kind of what was the difference between this game and when you guys got these guys in Salt Lake?
Obviously, when you go on the road, it's always going to be a little bit harder to win, so everybody feels a little bit more comfortable at home. And we knew that was going to be the case, but, just credit to them. They played really well, and they made a lot of shots, and, we got a little bit sped up there to start, and, yeah.
These guys had turned the ball over, I think, 21-ish times the last couple of games. Was there an emphasis from you guys' vantage point to try to push that, and what did they do to maybe prevent that?
That wasn't really something we talked about a ton. Just like we kind of have our things that we do that are our identity, and I think we try to pack it in a little bit. Like I said, they made some shots, and it's just credit to them.
Any other questions for the players?
Yeah, I have one. You guys switched to a zone defense a couple times throughout the game. Is that something you guys work on, or is that something that was kind of new?
It's something we work on a lot. Like, we know we have to change it up a little bit. We haven't been super great defensively in man, so we knew we had we had to figure out some stuff, and we've worked a lot on the zone, and it's been good for us a couple times this year, and I think they went 1 for 7 in it when we went to zone in this game, so it's going to be something that we look to maybe a little bit more down the stretch here, and just trying to figure out what works for us.
You guys shot 7 for 28 from 3 today. Was a lot of those shots taken out of desperation from getting behind early?
You want me to go? I can go. Yeah, okay. I jacked up a lot at the end there, just trying to get, when you're down, you got to kind of try to get back into it. So, it's a little bit of desperation, but we know we're a good shooting team. We haven't been shooting great, and, it's basketball, so sometimes it goes like that. So, it's a hard game sometimes. So, I think we're going to get back to that. Just shots will fall eventually.
Well, congrats to Oklahoma State. It's a good win for them, and obviously a disappointing loss for us. It's always hard to win on the road in Big 12 play, and but I thought they played well. When you're the road team and you come in, and our starting lineup's been really good since we played Oklahoma State. We made some changes 3.5 weeks ago, and we've been pretty good about getting off to really good starts, and felt like tonight a big key, not the begin all and end all, but the start of the game. Oklahoma State's a team that they're very athletic. They create a lot of chaos. They create turnovers. They can really get out in transition. They're good on the glass, the offensive glass especially, and we just felt like the start of the game with the crowd and everything was going to be big, and we got down 12-1 or 12-3 or whatever it was, and I think they scored on 6 of their first 7 possessions. So now you're behind the 8 ball from the start, and it's certainly not impossible. There's a ton of game left, but it makes certainly it a lot harder, and so didn't like how we defended the whole game. We just got to have more vigor. Too many breakdowns, some with some pick and roll, some with second chance opportunities. They had a little stretch there. They're pounding it inside. They go 14 for 16 from the free throw line in the first half. It's way too many free throws. It's hard to beat a team on the road when they shoot 36 free throws. Now, we shot 30, but it's a lot to overcome. That way. I thought the first half we had too many turnovers, 7 turnovers, which equated to 11 of their points. So 11 points off our turnovers, 14 points at the free throw line. It's 25 points, just like that. And so, and then we didn't finish the half very well. I think they scored 6 of the last 7 possessions. The one stop we had was the one where they had a 10-second possession because it was the end of the half. So we're a lot better the second half. We really went back and forth, very physical game. What do you expect in Big 12 play? But for us, we just weren't able to get over the hump, and so life on the road is tough in this league. Credit to them for making the plays and just being. I thought they were the aggressors. I just thought, usually we have a saying in our program, the aggressor always wins, and I thought they were just more aggressive for 40 minutes. Certainly we had some stretches, but for 40 minutes. And then lastly, just with some of our foul trouble, we didn't handle that necessarily a great way. Lovering fouling out. Azar had 4 fouls. Keanu Dawes 2 quick ones. And we just got to be able to handle that and overcome that. But we'll learn and we'll grow from this thing and on to the next.
What was different between the Oklahoma State team you played in Salt Lake City and the team you played today?
Well, first of all, like a lot of teams, I think Oklahoma State is clearly played better at home. And for us, at that time, today's marks the halfway point in Big 12 play, right? And, at that time, we were 0-3, and, with losses at Baylor, at home to Texas Tech, and Iowa State, and they had just come off a big win against Kansas State, and I thought we were way more poised and disciplined offensively. We only had 11 turnovers that game. 2 of them were in the last 2 minutes. But I think we had 46 points in the paint last time we played them. We were just really assertive and aggressive, and were able to get to the paint a lot. And tonight wasn't nearly, as effective that way. Paint points, Utah 30. Oklahoma State 22. And then we played hard without fouling. Now, Oklahoma State does a good job. They get to the foul line. I think they're number 1 in the Big 12, getting to the foul line. It's a big thing. We typically don't foul very much. We're more of a packed defensive team. Try to keep everything in front of you, play hard without fouling type of thing. But credit to them for being the aggressors.
You mentioned it being the halfway point of Big 12. It's obviously you guys' first year in the league. What, I guess, have your expectations of the league been matched? Have there been things, aspects of it that have been different than you thought coming in?
Well, it's been growing. Listen, I've been in the Big 10 and in some different leagues, not in the Big 12. I love it. I think it's an awesome league. I just to be in this league and be a part of it, and the brand of basketball. I love the physicality of it. I love the athleticism of it. Obviously, the skill level of it. A lot of well-coached teams. Just the whole thing. Great venues. Being on the road, venues that are really hard, and you feel the presence at certain places specifically. It's awesome. You got to show up every day. I'm a big believer in you can talk the talk all you want, but you got to go walk the walk, and actions speak louder than words. And as a coach, there's scheme and adjustments, and there's all that stuff. But one thing I know, in whether I was at Mayville State or University of South Dakota or Utah State or, as a head coach or different places, one thing I always know to do is roll up my sleeves and go to work. And in this league now, with it being the first year with 20 games and all after Christmas, you're playing 20 games in a 10-week window. It's no joke now. It's not for the meek. You better have a strong backbone, and you better have a strong spirit, and you got to have the fine line of learning, right, through disappointment, and learning through victory. So you got to be able to handle prosperity. I think that's the thing that people don't talk about enough. I saw this quote a long time ago, for every 100 men that can handle failure, only 1 can handle success. And I really believe that. It's when things are going good, it's easy to forget why it's going good. And, we got this. And, why, right? So you got to be able to handle prosperity. But then you got to also be able to handle failure. And, sometimes when you get down, it's easy to feel the loser's limp, right? It's easy to feel sorry for yourself, and you got to respond. And now, with 20 games in 10 weeks, man, it's you learn and it's on to the next. And if you're still worried about a tough loss, or you're still celebrating a big win, it's probably not going to be very good for you the next game. So you got to be able to learn, but you have to have amnesia if it's a tough game for you. But in a way, you got to have amnesia too. Because if you had a great game, it's, if you're still celebrating, you're going to have a problem. So it's a heck of a league. So pumped to be a part of it. And then lastly, with the league, just we're learning, right? We were picked 16th out of 16. Now being a part of it halfway through, you have a better feel for what you need to have to really climb to where you want to go. I'm sure Steve has seen the same thing, and I've certainly seen it. We have some really good things, but there's some things that we have to add if we're going to do what we need to do as we move forward.
In your opening statement, you mentioned the crowd. How do you think the crowd affected the game tonight?
I thought today was great. You could certainly feel the student body. They're strategic and smart with how they do that. Some right behind their bench, and some on the end zone, and then the band right there. I think it's awesome. It's loud. I remember the first time as an assistant went to Purdue, and Purdue's banging the drums and the music is in your ear. Every time out, it was very difficult to communicate, even in the timeout when they're closer than you are to me. I have a loud voice, and it's you are you have to. It's hard to communicate, and certainly within the game, yelling to the guys on the floor. It was now maybe they just didn't want to listen to me, but I think it was the other. I thought there was a great environment in here, in the acoustics, and I've never been to this arena. I've seen it on TV. It really pops on TV, but it's difficult to communicate. At least it was tonight, and so you could feel it. Cool arena.
Time for one more.
Were you pushing the three-point shot today? Obviously, you shot 7 for 28 from behind the arc today. Were you pushing the three-point shot, or was that more of your players kind of chucking up shots as you were falling
We were
behind?
not pushing the three-point shot. Now, I do feel like we passed up some clean looks tonight to try to get better shots. I do think we settled at times tonight. Where we really hurt them before was in the paint, like I talked about. I thought we got a little bit impatient. That happens sometimes on the road. And that's what pressure defense does. Like they speed you up. And I thought clearly Oklahoma State sped us up on the offensive end of the floor. We got a little bit quick, with some things. And so, like you said, we got to learn and grow from it. We played some guys tonight that maybe haven't always consistently been playing. Maybe that's a little bit of it with some of the foul issues that we had. But that's basketball. That's part of it. You got to be able to depend on everybody.